Hey guys, give me a second and I'll read through these comments. Hey Poppy, better send you a sticker, Poppy. Drop me an email with your address. Hey Chirpy. Hi everyone that isn't talking, that's a good call. Some of you on mobile phones and don't know how to work them, and some of you are on mobile phones and can't work them. Hey Greg, Mark Osborne, hello. Yeah, good latest video, Chirpy. I'm really liking the look of that build, it's looking great. Yeah, that's right. Don't know about any new fires, just the one in Australia around Maddie's place. I saw that, Poppy. Hey, Stephen Lang, g'day. David, hello. Sorry, I'm still going through. Rustin Ox, hello. We're all waiting for. Beats me. It's one of life's little mysteries. But anyway. Matty, g'day. Gosh, there's a lot of comments to go through. Ian Morris, hello. Ah, we've caught up. Okay. Warren, g'day. Now, this isn't a really good... Hey, Richie's Restoration. This isn't a really good collet rack. I made it up a while back. Right? It's not perfect by any means. It's a block of wood with some holes in it and two other blocks of wood screwed on it. Not a big fan because it fills up with dirt and there's no cover on it. Don't like it very much. Big thanks, Stephen. Really big thanks. Thanks for letting us know. Excited about that. Digger up back, g'day. It's really hot and humid here. If you want a weather report, it's probably 30-ish still, and it's about 8 o'clock, or it is 8 p.m. Pretty warm, pretty muggy. There's still a lot of water evaporating out of the ground, and it's pretty muggy. We got some rain. This weekend we got some rain here. Exactly, the weather station is just more or less over the back fence. It's 200 meters away, a couple hundred yards. Hey Raymond. Thanks Richie. But 200 meters away, the weather station is a local one, and they got 328 millimeters of rain on Friday night, between about 8 and 8 a.m. And we got about 10, 15 millimeters on Sunday, and we got Monday and Tuesday, we got another 30 millimeters or something like that. So we've had, it's a bit of a sun shower, yeah. We've had about 14, 15 inches of rain just here. My roof leaks. It doesn't leak, and it rarely leaks. In 364 days of the year, it doesn't leak. But sometimes it does. So I ended up sleeping 2 days on the couch because the light fitting hole and above the bed drips, and I don't like that very much. So pulled everything up, put a bucket down, and slept on the couch for 2 days. But everything's dried out, but it's still really humid. There's still a lot of water coming up. Anyway, there's my tragic sort of tale for this weekend. Hey Willem. Duncan, g'day. 3 foot of snow sounds like fun. We've had 3 foot of water. Anyway, this collet rack isn't really the answer. What I'd like is something in rows, probably in rows of 3 different collets, vertically, like something 400, 16 inches tall, something like that, with a door on it or a lift up door or something, so keep the dust out of these because they get dirty pretty quick. Yeah, it's not really like that. Not quite. No, it's not as open and shut as that, Warren. We haven't actually been electrocuted. It's just the lowest point in the ceiling. Hey, JB. Anyway, we're past that for another 2 years or something. It might happen again, but next time we might have the gutters cleaned out first too. These are the launch collets that I have, with the ones that I got the other week and the ones that I already had. Smallest one's 1mm. We've got quite a selection there, up to 10.5. These 3 need replacing, really. They're not real good. The 8's not real clever. The rest aren't too shabby. And we'll get away with these at a pinch, but really I'd like to see some of these bigger ones replaced. So if anyone's got any 12.5mm Lorch A-series collets and want to get rid of them, let me know. I've asked that before a dozen times. So that's the 3D printed spindle nose guard that I made. I've made 2 or 3 of them. That's one of the really good uses for a 3D printer. It's nice and neat and easy to unscrew, and it's a good thing. And if it doesn't quite fit properly, you can adjust it so it does and print another one. There we go. The bad ones can't really be bored bigger, Raymond. That's a really good question. This one's 10.5, and you can see it's a bit chewed up, actually. And the reason it's chewed up is it's only 12.5 on the outside, so it's only 1mm thick. So while everything lines up and the grooves and everything are nice and true, these are bent sideways rather than in or out. So you can see there's plenty of squash room. And when you put it in the chuck with a piece of rod in it, it's probably plenty good enough. But they're certainly as good, I think, as a Chinese set of ER32s or something that I could buy. That's where I'm at with it. So for the smaller ones, we've got a beautiful set of collets. I've got a few odd ones too. We've got 2mm. I've got 2 of them. 2.5. 2 2.5s, I think. Yep, 2 25s. 2 30s. 35, 36, 37. No idea why. And a 40. Probably 2 40s. Yep. 45. 2 50s. 55, and 60, and 61, which is useful, but yeah, 65, 70, 75, 2 75s actually, 180, 85, it's a 90, 2 90s, one of them's pretty good, 95, 100, and 105. Hey, Dennis. And hey, Anthony. G'day. Hope you're feeling a bit better. You too, Dennis. Hope you're feeling a bit better. I've been watched Stefan's latest video this week about this, which was sort of directed at people who have odd sized collets, which was really nice of him. Probably I could fix some of these. What I'll probably do is hit someone up to swap some of these. The ones I've got seconds of that are okay, I wouldn't mind swapping out for a 10 and an 8 and a 10.5. But we'll see. Hey, Mike. Use these a fair bit. These are pretty good, and I'm going to continue to use these. These are really good. This is a woodworking drive sander or a plastic drive sander. I'm not sure if it's a particularly useful thing. It should have a pump sander that needs some work. One day I might need that, and I'll fix it. Oh, good stuff, Anthony. Now, this one's a spindle center. So, got that. These I haven't been so lucky with. This had a spring center in it for locating the center, and then 3 drive dogs. So that was the idea, is spring-loaded center, and you set it up on centers and then squeeze it together until the 3 drive dogs caught. This is in the couple of launch books I've got. It's a genuine part. These have got some issues. Some more worse than others. But this should be, if we have a look, a 1mm gap all the way through here to there. And it is nicely a 1mm gap in the back. I've got a bit of 1mm shim. And that's not bad up to about, there somewhere. And then they stretched a fair bit, and you can nearly get a 2mm shim in most of these, probably 2 and a bit, 2 and 2.2, something like that. And then they're nearly touching again down here. Not so much. That one's pretty bad that way. So these have been abused. I don't know how this happens, because they go in the spindle up to here, and they should only move from here to here, and I don't know why or how they bend bow in here. That's one of life's little mysteries, actually. But they're all like it, nearly. One of them goes in the spindle okay, the rest don't. And even that one needs some work. So these aren't that hard, Craig. Yes, for boring the brass gears, they're fantastic. That's what I would like to use them for. But they're all going to need a little bit of work. These aren't that hard. They're about 40 RC, something like that. But yeah, someone's put a bit much pressure on it, but I don't know why, because you would think that would squeeze this. This shouldn't stretch, because this is up in the 12.5mm spindle, which is the same size as this all the way through. And they're tight when it gets to here. You can see the marks where someone's forced them. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try and do, is make a sleeve here, a fairly like a fairly serious sleeve, something pretty thick, and slide over here with 3 8mm set screws, like decent 5/16. That's for 8mm set screws, and put shims in here and see if I can squash this in and bend them straight. And if I can, then I can set these up in the lathe, and I can probably regrind these steps at 0.2 millimeter increments like they used to be, and then we should have something that's pretty good. Hey Kevin. So that's the theory. I'm going to make a decent go no gauge for the go gauge for these 12.5 millimeter and make something nice, so that I can test them rather than put them in and out of the spindle and bend or damage something. And then I'm going to try and shim these here and squash this in and see if we can fix it. And if we can get a bit of negative back in here, maybe it will only spring back enough so that these are straight. That's the theory. Talk to a couple of anonymous German tool makers, etc, 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 that don't like having their names brought up here, and a couple of other guys who seem to know what they're talking about. Last names like Ronzetti and so forth. But I think that's the best way probably to fix them. And if we can get these grooves somewhere near straight and aligned at 1 millimeter down like this, like these are, nice and parallel, then we can shim these and preload them, tighten them up a bit in the chuck, and we can set these up and grind them at 0.2s and have a complete set of good collets again. Now, having said that, this is the second time I've been bitten with the exact same problem. So I would say that most of these that are out there have the same issue. If we have a look at these, which I've had for quite some time, these are also Lorch, and they work the other way around. So this is the opposing set. These have been in the cupboard for a bit because they've got problems as well. They're really quite badly damaged, actually. These need the same treatment, to be honest. I'm not sure how to fix these or whether they're fixable. But these are a bit of a mess, to be honest. They're F-Lorch. And I've got a set of these, except I haven't got a number. I think I've got two number 2s, and I haven't got a number 4 or something. Don't know, still looking. But these have been royally abused, to be honest. Someone's used them for something that they're not really designed to be used for. So if we make shims up to fit in these and then squash these down the same, they might work. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at the others first. These have been rusty at some point. These ones, if these are like rocking horse manure, these ones are like, they're like fairy dust. There's almost impossible to find any of these listed, or even anyone who's got a set of these. They work the same, except they grip on the inside rather than the outside. So they're really nice. And I think if we straighten these reasonably well, and it's just a matter probably of making a ring for the outside and squash, and some shims and squashing them up. I don't know. Have a think about that. But then I think we could preload them and grind them, and we could get them pretty jolly close, and they'd be nice again. So hose clamp might work, Craig. I might make a, I don't know, might make a bush that goes around here and clamps on with a screw or something. Anyway, still thinking about that, and these are a bit of a mess, unfortunately. If anyone's got a set of these in 12.5mm Lorch size or 10mm Lorch size, I'd be really keen. But these come from Poland a few years ago, and I paid reasonable money for them, and they really weren't much good. I haven't used them much. There's only a couple of them that are really usable. And you need a complete set because they're 0.2mm sizes. So if you need to go up or down one, then it's not much good if you're missing one, because that's how accidents like this happen, I think. So anyone who's got any thoughts on that, You know where to find me. That's a project, I guess. Now, what else is happening in the workshop? Got springs from Hales for these. Pretty cool. Like the proper size springs. They're 1.6, I think, wire. They all work. This one's going to need shortening a bit, so I might have to do that. But these are good. Stephen, big thanks for sending or locating some self-aligning washers for the top of these. I had trouble with them. I've since discovered that the place I bought the springs from's got those little spring detents that you got me as well. But they haven't got self-aligning washers. These springs are just compression springs. They're not even really die springs. They're not all rated the same or loaded the same. They're just ordinary compression springs. They're steel. Hales, hales.com.au, they deal with these. They have a huge range on their website. And you can get spring thicknesses and lengths and weights and all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty helpful way to buy them. I needed two the same, so they're just springs. Shortening these won't be too difficult. We just have to bend the end of it over and grind them flat. They wouldn't be too hard. It's just I haven't really got the patience or the spring wire or the machine that's heavy enough to do it. Anyway, so they're going. I did order some 1020 for these, so there we go. I tossed up whether to make these out of aluminium, and they're probably good enough in aluminium. Like, pretty heaps good, and you could anodise them and they'd be really nice. But I've decided to make them out of 1020, which is probably overkill. It's just bright mild. And I've got that on the way, so there's enough blocks to make two of these and two of these. And we can start into them again. What else? Got this little rotary table, and it's a bit of a problem in that there's no real way to set it up. I've got these two cap screws in the back here, and that's all right for setting up against a T-slot. It's not perfect. I'd like a key on the back of it. It's got this key here, which is all right, but if you clamp it down or use this to clamp it, or even these two screws in a vertical position, what you get is too much flex in it, and you can't do heavy work with it. It's a beautiful rotary table. It's a Sherline one. So what I'm going to do, here we go, what I'm going to do, these are my thoughts on this, is that I'm going to make or find a piece of steel, a decent block of steel, something that wide, something like that, or this wide, and bolt it here and here all the way through, and probably even put 2 pins in it for a sign base. That's the thought, so that I can put this that way up in the chuck and use it that way rather than mess around and try and bolt it down, because it's only got this little groove here to bolt down. I don't like that very much. It's a bit of a failing on that. So you could set it up with a gauge block that way then and get our angles, which would be helpful when we're making these. Or we could set it up that way on the side of the vise and use it vertically. So that's my thoughts on that. If I got a piece of, say, 40 by 60 by 120, something like that, that's what have we got? About an inch and a half by 2.5 by 4 or 5 inches, and bolted that on there and cleaned everything up nice. I think that would be a really good, and we could probably even curve the back of it or something like that if we were feeling really energetic about it. But that would make a really, really good system, I think, to put this rotary table straight in the vise and get it at any angle you want, and to get it held securely and strong at both ends of the table, so that you don't end up with too much flex. So that's another project. You could bolt it to an angle plate, Warren. That's very true. I've tried this. It's too much flex in it. It's really not the answer. I don't like that. And you lose, by the time you clamp it down over here on the table, you've lost too much table space. If you put it this way and clamp it down here, your clamp holes are in the way here for a start. And I just messed with it and I don't really like it. I've had a few goes at that. I think the best way is to get a sign block on the back here so that we can put a pin in it and set it up however, whichever angle, or we can take the pins out and set it down flat, or we can set it up flat against the side of the grinding vise, which incidentally is not on the mill, so that's cool because I've been gear cutting. Something that'll, if we put this here, let's have a look. This is probably not really what we're going to have. This is overkill. But something like this, and then we can do it up nice and tight, and we've got no give in it at all. Or we can put it down this way and do it up nice and tight, and there's no give in it at all. Or we could set it up with, if we had a couple of pins that were 2 inches apart, we could set it up with a gauge block and have angles. So that's the thoughts. Hey, Tom. Doing foreigners, Tommy. That's no good. So if you have a look at Stefan's old videos, and I don't know if any of you have deep dived into Stefan's old videos, and you should. If you haven't, you should. There's a number 4 Cincinnati that's just been moved on here for nothing, and a friend got it, but I really haven't got the floor structure for that. So if you have a look at Stefan's old videos, he's got a block, and I would like to make one. For this, same thing. This little grinding vise, which is pretty good actually. I've used it a few times. A block to hold this on here at the right angle so that you can hold a piece straight in there. That's a good series of videos, and it's well worth looking at because he does it without all the fancy gear that he's got now. It's done with a milling machine and a shaper. Oh, it's done with a lathe and a shaper, and it's a really good job. So if I get a block of steel, or use this, or find something, I might do one for that and one for this. I thought that's the theory, and that should fix that. But I've got to really do yeah, building tilt's not good. So that's the theory with that. But I need to do this before I make these step blocks, and the steel's coming for these. I'm going to need to do this reasonably soon. I don't believe that I'll use this because I think this could be a block of cast iron or something. Really, it's pretty soft stuff. It might be 12, 14, it could be 10, 20, but it's really, really soft. I don't think I'm going to use that. I'll get something closer to the size and use that. So that's another project, because we all need more projects. There's 2 boilers here to finish. There's a steam engine to build, 2 steam engines to build with. There's a Stewart 400 that I've got to go when my friend's cleaned up his rain damage and stuff and got back from work and everything. I need to go and fix that. That could be Monday or Tuesday this next coming week, I hope. That's what I've got planned. So we might, next time we have this, we meet up, we might have a Stewart 400 casting here on the bench with a hole in it, which would be really nice. Absolutely, Russ. You watch Russ Knox's Shaper videos. Big shoes to fill, but he can do it. So, having said that, there's 1,000 projects. And something I do every year, which cuts into my project time because it creates all these other projects and it creates a whole other crazy amount of work that I try and keep up with. Kilroy's a good man on anything. James is fantastic and he should do more videos. He's just got too much work. He's a really nice guy and he's really, really good at anything. But this 2017, 2018, 2019 went to the Summer Bash. Awesome fun. First week in summer, 20th of June this year. If you're going, go, because it's worth the trip. I'm not going to go. There you go. You've heard it here. That's the way it is. Not going to go. I haven't got time. I haven't got really the finances. I do, but I'd rather spend them on workshop projects. But decision is now made. Yes, not going to go. And as a consequence of this year too, we're not going to have a tool making competition. So do with that what you like. But I'm seriously, it cuts into my workshop time and my spare time a colossal amount. And just this year, I'm going to give it a miss. So there you go. However, and I don't know whether I should say anything about this or not, but here goes. I'm going to, because I can't keep my mouth shut. I sent you all an email last night. I don't know if any Australian creators anyway. There'll be some things, JB. There's things we'll do. Well, we could do that, but there are other things we can do too. Oh, sorry, zoomed it. Zoom. That'll going to give you all a headache. But anyway, I think that's zoomed right out. First week in October, first weekend in October, there's a model engineering expo or a maker expo now. It's a bit more universal appeal than a model engineering expo in Melbourne, which is pretty cool. It seems to be a pretty good exhibition. It's well regarded. It should be fun. I'm going to go to that. Given any power at all, I sent all Australian creators some information. You guys can run it if you like. Craig's got it. He's got the link right there. So I sent all the Australian creators an email last night. You should have one. I didn't get a reply from all of you. I got some replies from some of you, and I got some replies from some fairly big YouTubers. Mark Pressling said he'd be really keen. Bruce, if you can hold him down, it'll be good fun to get there, and he looks like he's pretty keen. It's Bruce with him. Who else? John Creasy grudgingly said that he'd probably have enough leave up again by then, because he's at the moment skiing in Canada, doing black runs in -40 temperatures. So I guess if he's got any brain cells left from all those falls, he might be there. A few other people. We've got Tom said yes, and Craig said yes. I didn't get your email, Matty. I'm going to have a bit of a look for it now. So we're going to try and get there, and we're going to try and do some workshop tours. We've got some cool things that we'd like to see. We've got some cool things to organise. I've already talked to people about some things that we could do. We can try and get you some concession on Airbnb, probably. I can do that, I think. I'm going to try and get anyone who really wants to come to the weekend and come to the exhibition and maybe another event. It's not going to be a free-for-all because these places are a bit limited for space, but that might be fun. So anyone who's into this, anyone who's keen, anyone who wants to give me a hand to organise it, jump up and down, because there's a lot of work in this. Bruce is just crazy busy, that's all. That sounds great, Rustanox, and you should come. Greg, too, I need to work on projects and travel. That's where I need to be this year. But I'm going to try and do this, and I'm going to try and organise it. There won't be a tool making competition. There will be some other things that Australian creators are going to sort of try and do as a group, I think, more this year. I'd like to see that, because we're a bit of a force to be reckoned with, and we've got some great creators. I hit Xanadu up about attending in October. If anyone knows him better than me, maybe you could make the same offer, or hit him up again, because I'd really like to see him there. So that's probably what's going to happen here in Australia. So we should get some good videos. There should be some good content. There should be some good fun. And hopefully we can make it all work. Melbourne's central for everyone, more or less. And if we get some dates out there reasonably quickly, people can start shopping for airfares and things like that. Please do. Please do. I already sent him an email and he said no. I don't know whether he doesn't travel or which, but anyway. Also, when things get a bit more sort of organised, I might say, hey, Dave Jones, do you want to come and add some personality? Don't know about that. We'll see. And I'm going to send a letter to Clickspring too and see what he's up to, but I'm not sure he's a public person at all either. Anyway, this could be good fun, and Bruce has got some stuff up his sleeve that are really, really, really cool things. And Aaron Powter, who's DT teacher on YouTube, he had some really good ideas. He's in Melbourne and sort of part of the technical trade there, so he had some awesome opportunities or windows that he could explore as far as getting us into some tool making shops and things, which might be fun. So Scott Turner, I will look that out. I'm going to write in my notebook. You sent me a letter with a couple of names in it, Craig. I really appreciate that. Keep the info, keep it coming, because I'm going to need all the help I can get with this. I think it's kind of a crazy project, but it's going to be fun. I've got Bruce, and I need someone just to rein Bruce in. That's how that is. He'll have half of Australia there. Yeah, thanks, Craig. So, for an Australian point of view, that might be fun, and there might be some good content come out of that. Some good videos, I hope, and hopefully we all make it, and hopefully some of you overseas guys turn up too. So, you're more than welcome. We'll organise something for you. It's love to see you. It could, Maddie, but don't hold your breath because I'm not sure I've got an annual event in me, to be honest, for too many years. I know the work that Stans in Koski goes through to organise the Bazi Summer Bash, and that's colossal. That's crazy. The people he talks to, the arms he pulls, and the drinks he buys, and the personality that he spreads about to get what he gets is crazy. And I'm not that person, so. Bruce is already committed. I think he's already bought the tickets, Warren. So that's what's going down. Really, I haven't done much this weekend. I haven't done anything this weekend because I've been cleaning up and trying to dry things out and do laundry and get things organised with so much water about. But hopefully come this coming weekend going onwards, I'm going to do a bit more on the 400 and get that out of the way. Couple of little projects that really need to be finished that only a weekend's work in and that I've been procrastinating. Get them out of the way and move on to some of this stuff. So that's where we're at. So anyone who's got any questions, send me an email. That's awesome. Really. Yes, but Chirpy, that's one of those projects, a boiler and burner. I've got 2 boilers here, finished, pressure tested, ready to go. They need burners, and I don't think it's a really huge job. I've just got to stop procrastinating and get in and do it, and I apologise for that. That's the only reason I haven't done them. So that's one of the reasons I'm staying home, because if I said I was going to the bash from about the end of February onwards, there's no time for any projects at all through to about July. That's just the way it is. Hey, Max. Melbourne's a dangerous place for you, Max. We can keep you out of the pubs. It's all right. We can league rope you or something. We're good with that. Email address is MISS. Let's write this on a bit of tin. Hang on. I should have this on the wall here or on the front of the bench. I should have a stencil here with it on the front of the bench. But there we go. MISSEMMAJADE@gmail.com. That finds me. So send us email. Hit us up. If you've got any ideas, you'd like to be in on it, getting everyone on the same page and communicating together in the same place. We haven't all got Facebook and we haven't all got YouTube accounts enough to even subscribe to channels, and we haven't all got Twitter and we haven't all got Instagram. There's Google Meetups, which is probably quite good, but getting everyone organised so I don't miss any emails, it's a really difficult thing, and I found that with the tip blitz thing. But we'll get there. You're not the only one, Craig. So some of us is... Aha, Max. Well, if you've got any contacts, you drop us an email or let us know. Don't let Bruce run all over you because he gets a little bit ambitious with ideas. You know what he's like. So just rein him in a bit and say, oh, wait a minute, you know. But we can probably got enough time. This is October. We've got enough time to save up for machinery dealers. So everyone save up for machinery dealers and freight. So that might be fun. A couple of dealers. Also, I hit up another pretty cool tool making workshop that makes tangential holders. Can't say too much about that yet, but that might be a fun tour or workshop meet and greet or something if he's keen for a small group. So let's see how we go. Haven't had a message from Cam. I'm not sure. I hope he's okay. Didn't get a message from a lot of you guys yet. So plans for the tilting vise, Max. So it could be a pretty fun 3 or 4 days. That's all I'm saying. Not a huge exhibition. There's sort of one afternoon is enough to sort of see everything and spread some personality around for us guys, I think. But we could probably organise a barbecue somewhere, and we could probably some tours on the weekdays, maybe on Friday and Monday, something like that. So it's good fun. Anyway, good to see you, Dennis. Really, thanks for checking in. Take care, Dennis. Best regards. Hope those South Bends are right. Give it a pat for me on the way past. Rustin Ox, you take care too. Got a parcel address to you. I just haven't posted it. Same with a lot of other people. I'm trying to get parcels out. Probably tomorrow is a post office day. Anyway, I think we can make this work. I think we can make a pretty fun event out of it. And I think that it might be cool. We might even get some American creators over here out of their comfort zone a bit. Stephen, start saving up for 2021. We'd really appreciate it. Good to see you. Anyone else too? Chirpy, you ought to come over. But I think we can... It'd be a good idea anyway to have some spending money. If anyone who might be thinking to make it, put $10 a week away, and I don't want to... You might have enough independent means to just go and buy yourselves lathes and things, but it's... Now, another big shout out to you Australian guys. Man Cave Metals has just sent me a message saying that he got a lot of D2 and a lot of odd tool steel drops and squares and things. So first in best dressed, I think. I'm going to shout him out now. Man Cave Metals here in Australia. Hit him up on Facebook if you can, or give him an email or whatever, and see what he's got, because I think he's picked up a shed full of offcuts or something. There's a few offcuts there anyway, so that could be fun. So yeah, you've already got a huge swap meet, Chirpy. That's all right. We're few and far between here. So that's my thoughts anyway. And Right, Ted, g'day. Sorry. Melbourne, first weekend in October. 2nd to the 5th, something like that. Further details will be forthcoming, but not yet. This is the first most people have heard of it. Because it's only got to the stage that it might actually be a reality in the last 24 hours. So we're going to try and make it work, but that's what we're aiming for. Save up a week's holiday, save up some spending money. Bring a model engine with you if you like to run, something like that. Anyway. So that's where we're at. Anyway, that's probably nearly enough from me. I've prattled on long enough. Big thanks to all my new subscribers, if anyone's out there watching this, actually watching it. And thanks for all the love on on the gear cutting video. Anyway, I wanted to make a video to say my dividing head I built actually works, which is really nice, with limitations. The table's not big enough is the main problem. But I made a couple of gear sets which looks something like this now. These were 12-14 and I case hardened them and riveted them in. So that's, yeah. Just thought I'd better do a video and say my dividing head actually works. $2022 is not far away, Stephen, so start saving. Anyway. They're very shiny. That's a bit of a problem, Willem. They're laser cut. It's not acrylic. It's a plastic sheet anyway with a mirror back. And they're okay. But I'd like to see some made out of steel at some point. It's polycarbonate, Craig. Thank you. I'd like to. Everyone, go and buy some precision flat stones off Stephen Lang so that he can come to Australia. I could put them on backwards, then you can't read the numbers, JB. But I'd like to see some made out of steel at some point, and I might still do that. I know someone who's got a wire EDM, but that's a crazy big job and is out of my price range, I imagine. So that's it. But I've got other projects. I want to finish these. I really want to finish these at some point soon. And to do that, I've got to make some other tools. I really want to fix these. I really want to build a plate for this. I want to make a decent collet rack. I've got this now. This was a bit of a score that came with my collets, right? This fits my Lorch lathe, which is really nice. It's a bit rough around the edges. It's been made up out of two pieces for some reason. This might be original Lorch, and someone's put this plate on it with 3 socket head scrap screws. It's kind of a bit rough, but it runs nice and true because I checked it. I might get a ER32 collet chuck to go on this. Might be a really good idea, I think. Then we've got holding capacity up to what's ER32, 22 millimeters, something like that. Someone will correct me. But that might be a project for that. Just you know, I don't like to have a back plate sitting around I'm not using. I'm bad with that. Don't like putting collets in a drawer, mostly because the drawer's got to be that high, and you've always got to shut the drawer. That's the problem with drawers, is that you never ever shut them. You shut some of them, and when you open another one, you shut the others. But it's a bit of a pain. What I'd like is these in a vertical rack on the wall with plastic or clear plastic flip lids that fall down and keep the dust out automatically, and you've got to lift them up to pick the collet out. That's what I'd really like. So, don't know. Still thinking about that. I don't want to put them in drawers unless I can possibly avoid them, because drawers are really not the answer. And no, there aren't drawers here that actually stay shut. That's where our problem is. Every single cabinet I can see, and there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, that one's got shut drawers. Yeah, but the lid's open. That one's got 2 drawers open. That one's got a drawer open. That one's got a drawer open. That one's got a drawer open. They end up as more vertical, horizontal space, and that's not a good thing. So I would rather not put them in drawers. I think I'll make something else. That's true, Craig, and I've got lots of stuff. So I do have way too much stuff. Yeah, same here. I shut drawers when I open another one. Anyway, that's my email. If anyone wants to hit me up, that's cool. I'll try and put it down in the description box as well, if you want to come back later. And I'm going to call it a night. We've been an hour. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and all your feedback. Awesome community we got here. Let's get some more community stuff happening. And whether you like it or not, or you introverts, the floor is currently a shelf, Tommy. I hear you on that one. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. And let's see what happens. But until next week, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Anyone who's tuned in and subscribed is awesome, and they're slowly coming through, and that's great. And be kind to each other. So we'll say goodbye.